Hey! Oh, it is Wednesday. It is very almost 2 o'clock here in the UK. It is still supposed to be summertime, and yet it is cold, and I need my hoodie today. I am coming to you fresh-faced because I was at the gym first thing this morning, and haven't had a chance to do anything about it since. Been with clients this morning and dealing with email and all of that fab stuff. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes to see whether anybody else joins us live. And if not, and if you miss these, you can go over to YouTube and subscribe, and then we put them up there every week, and so you'll get a little notification to say that it's there, and then you can go check them out in your own time. We're also sending out reminders if you're on my list, which you can sign up to at ebonyallard.com/Monday Pep Talk, all one word. Then we'll send a reminder out, and that just means that you can join live with me and actually ask me questions and send me some likes and some love so that I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. But it looks like it's a quiet one today, and it's just you and me. So I'm going to talk about money. Hey! Send me some likes if you're here. I can never tell who it is, but maybe you can let me know. This fancy app that I have. Yay! It's Jen. Doesn't always help me see the comments or who the people are, and if I've got to do that, then I've got to look down at my phone. Anywho, we're talking about money today, which is some people's favourite subject, some people's least favourite subject. I did a webinar last night in my pyjamas all about money and leadership and how to make that big jump from like 2k consistently to 10k or whatever the big jump for you is. What I've seen is that it's easy enough for people, if they're committed, if they really want to get to 2k. And beyond that, then there's some extra work involved because you've got to grow your capacity. And that's internal capacity and external capacity. And there's a lot of beliefs and blocks and resistance and stuff that comes up around money about why we should have it, why we shouldn't have it, who we will be if we do have it. There's lots of reasons that are kind of lying beneath the surface on why we might not want it. And that you might think, but of course I want it. But actually, what if everyone in your family believes or says out loud that people who have money are like snobby? And what if your family has thrived and like really gets off on and connects with one another on struggle? Then there's a part of you that will feel like, well, actually, if I succeed and if it's easy and if I have lots of money, then I will no longer be part of my family. Like I will be shunned and I'll be shamed, or people will leave and they'll walk away. So that's the kind of the stuff. Like, so how do we make money in a way that feels good? And so I'm just going to riff on that for a little bit about some of the things that I have learned, some of the things that have really worked for me, some of the things that I've noticed going on in the world around people who make money in a way that feels good and people who make money and that maybe it doesn't feel good, and then they trip up or there's some kind of stumbling around that. And if you have any questions, you're very welcome to ask them, and I will attempt to do that, but I might end up like looking into the screen or whatever. Well, I'm glad to see more of you. Yay! So we talk about value filter quite a lot, and if you haven't got your value filter, go and have a look on the blog, and you want to find your filter. You want to find your filter through which to view the world, which is based on your values, those things that are important to you, the measures with which you're really, using to tell whether or not your life is turning out like you would want it to. So we need to make money in a way that is in line with our values. So one of the things that I really thought about quite a lot was that I want to keep the work that I do accessible. And so for a long time I was like, well, if I increase my prices, then that makes me not feel accessible anymore. And what about those people who really want to work with me, but who can't because they're not making that kind of money? And so that kept me stuck. And actually, for a while, what happened was it took me to a place that I wasn't making any kind of money wasn't feeling good anymore, because it wasn't a value match, because I was giving way more than I was receiving, or that felt good for me. It didn't feel like a fair value exchange. And so when I started to increase my prices, then it felt good, because then I felt like I was being matched for what it was that I was providing. But there was still this nigglingness. And so along the way, as I've increased my prices, as I've spent more, so there was a point where I wasn't putting my prices up, but I was paying like 4 times more for my coaching, or for my accountant, or for my business support services for my team than I had been previously. And so the profit, the bit that should have been paying me, wasn't there, wasn't happening. And so that making money in that instance, like, wasn't feeling good. I was like really stuck in that place. But the belief underneath was like, well, it's the value here is like being accessible. That's really important to me. So like with all the things that I do, there has to be a reframe. I'm like, how can I look at this? How can I reframe this in a different way so that my brain can get on board, or the part of me, my ego self, or my fearful self, or my contracted self, like this bit of me, this disengaged part of me, this bit of me that needs to be integrated, can also get on board. How can I look at this in another way? So I started to really think about it. And I started to think about, like, well, if I had the money that at the moment like feels good for me, if I had that amount of money coming in, what would and rather than thinking about the individuals who would then need to pay that, and deciding and making an assumption for them that they can't pay that, even though I've found a way to go from huge amounts of debts to like paying my coaches and my support team and like all of that stuff, but deciding already that other people can't do that. If I take that away, what amount of money would make me feel good? And what could that mean for everybody else? What could that mean in terms of accessibility? And so I started to think about the kind of person that I would be if I had the kind of money that we're talking about here. And like, in fact, I'm not even going to say that. I was about to say, and we're not talking about lots. But the thing is, it's so relative. Like, to some people, we really are talking about lots, and to other people, we're really not. And so it's a comment that's not actually helpful. I've forgotten where I was on a rant and then distracted myself. Oh yeah, so I started to think about who would I be? Who would I be if I was that person? Who would I be if I had a comfortable amount of money coming in each month, and I was on board with this value thing? If it felt like I was providing something that was also accessible. And my body moved. I could feel it change from a place of contraction to a place of expansion. Like, everything relaxed and was like, do you know what we'd be able to do? We'd be able to create a podcast. We'd be able to create more free content. We'd be able to do a symposium 3 times a year and invite incredible guests in to speak and have conversations that are going to inspire people. We would be able to do scholarships. We'd be able to I'd be able to write more books that can be available to people at a lower price point. And suddenly this inside of me, this creative force and flow was ignited, and I realised that actually I needed to put my prices up in order to be more accessible to more people, to have a greater impact and to reach more people. And so then I realised that was in my value filter. Then I realised that I'm on board with this. And then it became a process of like, okay, well, how do I go about this in a way that continues to feel good? So each step along the way, I have looked at the reality, like what are the facts here? What are the stories that I'm telling myself? What have we done already? What has worked? What feels good? Where have the clients come from that have felt like really good match? What's their process been? How did they show up? Was it when I was sitting at a desk, writing, or was it when I was like going out and looking for clients, or was it when we were doing some kind of launch or strategy, or was it when I was like at a festival in a field talking to someone, or was it when someone read my book and then went, oh, I read your book, or was it when I was doing podcasts? And so I started to look at all the different ways that over the years I have actually found money coming into me. And I realise that the times when it feels good and the times when it's been the easiest have been the times when I've shown up as me, in my rawest, most vulnerable state, where I've got no makeup on, where I'm telling you the truth, where I'm speaking from my soul and from a place of passion and realness, where I'm going, you know what, I'm just human, really trying to make a business work and help and give back and have difficult conversations and cheerlead and challenge people in the world to do their stuff. And when I show up in the world doing that, it doesn't matter whether it is in the hairdresser or on a yoga mat or in a festival or in a field or in a newsletter or on a blog, none of it makes any difference. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about today was like, how do we make money in a way that feels good? Really, all of those micro decisions that lead you to the place where you are making or not making money are just that. They're micro decisions, and they will lead you to the place where there is money. Each micro decision needs to come with a checking in of like, does this feel good? Does this feel expansive for me, or does this feel contracting for me? I'm looking over here because on my window I have post-it notes to myself, and so there are little things that over the last couple of years, like I've written on the wall, and some of them have come down because I'm preparing to move again. Follow what feels good. It's okay to enjoy the exhale. It's okay to enjoy the process. What do I feel? Where do I feel it? Am I holding myself, or am I allowing myself to be supported? And it's safe for me to change my mind, are all things that are written like right in front of me. And so when I, like on my Instagram, and if you're in my community, we do affirmations and mantras quite a lot. I've got cards. The shop is kind of hidden at the moment, but if you want them, there's little packs of cards like this that still exist. So if you go to ebonyallard.com/goodies, it's hidden at the moment, but there are some in there, and you can definitely go and buy some. I'll send them out. It's been hidden because I've been out of the country, but I'm back. They're not just like sound bites. I actually use them. I use these mantras and affirmations, and I rewire and reprogram my brain every single day. And I check in with myself, like, does this feel good? And that's why the practices that people do, the things like journaling, or the things like a meditation walk, or the thing like spending quiet time on your own, or doing exercise, or any of the things that I am a real advocate of, over like, have this system, do this process, ask in this way, objection handle like this. Those other things, they work for a lot of people, and they may very well feel good for you, but that's an individual thing. And there's not going to be a place where I ever turn around and go, this is how you make money in a way that feels good. Because I'm not prescriptive, and I haven't lived your life, and I can't do that for you. What I can do is tell you that from my experience, what's taken me from 2K to 10K and beyond is the checking in with myself. Is this in integrity for me? Does this feel real for me? Does this feel true for me? Is it expansive? And so sometimes when I'm on the phone with people, like I was on the phone with someone yesterday, and we were talking about working with each other one-to-one. And old me a long time ago, or me that like needs the money, would have just gone, oh, you know what, you must sign up and work with me. And now, these days, I'm like, oh, maybe it's not time for this person. And so I'll really check in with them. I'm like, does this feel expansive for you? Or does it feel contracting for you? Like, is it a yes and you want to do it, but you're scared? Or is it just not the right time? So we really look at the nuances. And so these nuances of making money in a way that feels good, it's like, I will check in with your soul. I'll check in with your intuition, your guidance system, because I don't want you to blame me and go, well, I wasn't ready. Like, that doesn't work. I'm not making the decision for you. This is your decision. And so the buying decision is something that's shared. It's not about convincing someone into doing something. At least from my perspective, that's not how it works. It's like showing people what's available, letting them buy, making it as easy as possible for them to buy. So the one-click thing, or making it on PayPal, or any way that I can make it easy for people and let them buy so that I'm able to receive, then that feels good too. And so I'm sure that there are all sorts of ways that we make it more difficult for people to buy from us that we need to unravel and uncover as well. But yeah, so this has been a random rant on how to make money in a way that feels good. And I hope that some of it is useful. I'd love to carry on this conversation. I'd love for us to talk a little bit more about money. The reason money came up is because inside the M2M 360 community, it's Acknowledgement Week. And this is where we look at all sort of different aspects of acknowledgement. But one of the things we really look at is money, is status, kudos, reward, how we want to be rewarded, how much we want to be rewarded, what feels safe for us, what feels good for us, and our relationship with our money. So that's why it came up in conversation. And next week we're talking about appreciation and gratitude. So I will see you same time, same place next week, 2 p.m. GMT in this group. And if you don't want to miss it, then please sign up for my list, which you can do at ebonyallard.com/Monday Pep Talk, and you will get a reminder from someone on my team about 15 minutes before saying that I'm going to go live and telling you what the topic is. And if you want, you can also sign up, subscribe on my YouTube channel, because these go up there as well. And that really helps me. It means if we actually get to a certain amount, I can change the URL, make it really easy for people to find me. But also it means that you can share it and other people will find it, and maybe they will find this interesting too. So as usual, thank you so much for showing up on a Wednesday. I love having these conversations with you, and I'd love to carry it on. So if you've got questions, if you have got anything that came up while I was talking, anything that you want to talk about at all, pop it in the comments. If you tag me, I'll always answer. And yeah, I'm not the only one who's got a huge amount of wisdom here. So other people in this group really have too, and I would love to hear from them and from you. Okay, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye.